got you in my sight. I keep all of what you said to me. I get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, now you'll beg me please. Hey.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm running a little late. Former police officer is wanted after 2 women are found dead and his child is abducted. So if anybody has not heard of this story that came out about 5 p.m. yesterday, please let me know in the chat so that we can recap what I went over in my last live, which was like at 3 a.m. So basically, this man on your screen here, who is the father of this child, has had multiple, not only red flags, but extreme indecencies with young girls in his past and incidences within his jobs. And his first victim seemed to be, at least from what we understand, is the mother, or ex-wife rather, and then also the girlfriend, which is the 2 that were murdered, that he is being alleged to have murdered them. So they're on the run, and it seems like he was on his way to Mexico, but there's been sightings. It's been kind of back and forth with what's absolute. The police are supposed to update. I don't know if it's Richland or the chief of police. I'm going to take a look. I had it on my phone, but now I left my phone. So there is a manhunt underway for this former cop who's on the run. Let me pull up the latest and greatest I see here. Top stories. All right. Now this guy, he's got quite the record. So he's on the run after not only did he murder one of the victims in front of the school pickup line area, which one of the locals, thank you, Carrie in chat, for connecting me with a local who has heard of what was going on with this guy, not just with his court case, which he bonded out on. And it was regards to second and or third degree rape of a child. Yeah, went over that yesterday. We'll get into a little bit more of the court documents and why he had got, what was it, $200,000 bond, and who in the world made that bond. Did he make that bond? Home Dude was only making $20 an hour at where he was working as a school resource officer, yet had, what was it, $17,000 on an envelope when they came in to arrest him. The dude is sketch all the way around. He is a predator. They believe that he could harm and definitely be violent. So this is why it's such an important thing. Carrie says he should have never been released. Absolutely. Held no bond. Absolutely. So let's recap. This came out early this morning, but it was updated about 30 minutes ago. So police in Washington State, or about an hour ago rather, police in Washington State are urgently searching for former officers suspected in the killings of his ex-wife and girlfriend and the kidnapping of a 1-year-old boy. The former officer, Elias Huizar, is armed and considered dangerous and is likely to commit more crimes, the West Richland Police Department said. Hopefully they'll have the Facebook live streamed. Is it even ready yet? Let me go to their West Richland Police Department Facebook page. Here we go. So that's just, the basics. Let's just switch over to the live stream. One moment.
In these types of situations, it's important to back active investigation, and we are still working on identifying leads and following those leads. There are multiple law enforcement agencies that are involved in investigating this matter, and so there's a lot of effort being put into locating school.
The audio is always so low. Ugh.
Why was yesterday's court appearance canceled?
I'm not familiar with that.
It was my understanding that he was meant to be in court yesterday following the cases that you had mentioned, and that when we were looking on Odyssey, it said it had been not skipped, but I forget the word there, but stricken. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have specific information about that. I'm
okay.
sure that's something that we can track down and find.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What kind of resources is your office providing the community right now, the prosecutor's office? Because we don't want to see something like this happen again, these domestic violence cases.
Absolutely. So my victim witness supervisor joined up with SARC and the chaplaincy to meet with staff from Wiley Elementary earlier this morning. And we are going to continue to work with Richland School District to provide resources and support for those who are affected by this matter.
And then can maybe somebody from the school district talk about some of the first place, how that situation all kind of, I mean, he just came on, or?
So I can turn this over to Dr. Redinger if you'd like to ask.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we just recently sent out a timeline to all of our families, and we'll be putting that up for all of the community to see the timeline of his employment with the Richland School District and other information regarding that. So during dismissal, we have staff out with students and parents. We have a lot of parents that come and pick up their students. He was behind a kind of a portable area and knew that she would be out there apparently, and then shot her there. Yes, and so quickly, it was definitely a targeted, and then we quickly got staff. Staff acted very quickly and got everybody back inside. Yes, and then we did a lockdown.
What time is dismissal?
Right around, like 3:15, 3:10. And it's dismissals at our elementary schools. They take a while because we do have the walkers, the buses, but we have a lot of, fortunately, we always have, and I'm very proud of our staffs for this, a lot of staff outside during dismissals. Have therapy dogs. We had supports for all of our schools as well, and so we have flight teams that are made up of counselors and nurses, psychologists, and we have them active at all of our schools, because we know this isn't just affecting Wiley, it's affecting our entire Richland School District family. So we do have resources. Today we opened up the district office, and we had counselors from all across the entire region. We did have quite a few families and students come, and we did have therapy dogs there, and our entire Wiley staff met together, and we debriefed, and I just can't say enough about the counseling support and ongoing support. The local mental health agencies are making room to make sure that they can help any Wiley students and families as a top priority.
Can you talk about the communication this morning? I was talking with a Richland mother who has a young child in elementary school, not at Wiley, but she was upset that she wasn't getting communications from the school on whether school was open or not open for other schools as well. Can you talk about that?
Sure, yes. So we do have a tool, Parent Square, that we utilize. We went to the school because it is very fast. Like when we want to send a text to all of our families or an email, it's immediate. Our old systems would take about 5 to 10 minutes. So that went out on Parent Square. And so the only school that was canceled was Wiley. We did have other schools that went into lockdown, and we made sure parents came and picked them up. It's always better to be really careful when you don't know for sure what it is going on, and so we took the utmost precautionary terms, and we made sure that we locked down other schools as well. So all of the information that we've been sending out internally to parents, now we're going to be sending that out to the whole community. So the whole community knows the steps that we've taken.
That's an app on your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can somebody talk about, we're not dealing with a regular suspect. This is a former officer. He's trained. How worried are you guys?
As I said, multiple agencies are involved in this investigation, so significant resources are being put at this manhunt for Mr. Huizar. Obviously, we are concerned based on the recent events that occurred at Riley Elementary yesterday, and as a result, we are making every effort to apprehend him as soon as possible.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So is there an SLA for the arrival of officers when a scene like this happens?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
An SLA, like service of a level of agreement as respond for a situation like this? My kids go to school there, and I have never seen a resource officer on site since the years my kids have been going to school. Is there any plan in place for future resource officers to be on site at Wiley Elementary in particular?
I think Dr. Redinger can speak to that.
So right now, what we have, and it's been, both police departments have had a hard time hiring police officers. So we do have a long-term plan in place as officers are available. So we do have a full-time SRO at Hanford and one at Richland. Those are Richland PD.
Yep.
And then we have 3 security guards in addition at both of those schools. We have full-time security guards at all of our middle schools. And then in Westford, and then the SROs at Richland and Hanford also will come for calls, and they, during the day, will go in and look at their area that they have in terms of this Richland. West Richland, we have a partnership, which I'm very proud of, where we have a full-time SRO at both. He goes back and forth between Libby and Enterprise. And then we have a full-time security guard at Enterprise and full-time security guard at Libby. All of them help out in terms of the elementaries. So they will go around and help out when we have situations.
I would like to see more of a balance there because my kid's been going there for some time already, and it's definitely devastating seeing so much officers on site. And I will want to say thank you guys all for your guys' support. I really enjoy living in this community. I continue to live in this community, and I really appreciate all your guys' hard work and effort. I know this is none of your guys' fault. However, I do want to pay my respects to your guys' authority and work ethics behind this process. But I would like for my kids to be a little bit more safer. We've even considered homeschooling because of this. But nonetheless, this is the reason why I'm here, to sit here and listen to your guys' future changes.
Any other questions?
Yesterday, neighbors told us that there was a long history at the house. Can PD give us more info about that?
Obviously, I indicated there.
No closed caption. Sorry, guys.
Charges regarding Mr. Huizar. Beyond that, I'm not able to provide any other details at this time, and don't have other information to provide. So, I think it was a hand in the back. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to know how Manhunt became employed by Richard for this work, what the history of the house.
So the question was about the employment. So we did send out to all of our families a very lengthy timeline of the very beginning. And we did our due diligence. It's airtight, and I want to read one comment about this. All of his background checks came back positive. His reference checks were positive from another school district, and there were no red flags when he was hired. However, on February 14th, 2024, we received notice of Mr. Huizar's.
I'm going to recap whatever she's saying.
Allegations against him. We immediately removed him from being able to work.
This is nonstop.
His last day of substitute teaching for us was June 14th, 2023. So all this year, he has not been employed with the school system. Lengthy timeline of the very beginning. And we did our
Holy
due
moly,
diligence.
that's so much
It's
better.
airtight, but I want to read one comment about this. All of his background checks came back positive. His reference checks were positive from another school district, and there were no red flags when he was hired. However, on February 14th, 2024, we received notice of Mr. Huizar's arrest, and learning of the allegations against him, we immediately removed him from being able to work or volunteer. At the time, his last day of substitute teaching for us was June 14th, 2023. So all this year, he has not been employed with the school system. I do want to make one comment. We are extremely disheartened that information about his past was not disclosed to us through the various processes we have in place to vet RSD candidates for employment. It is the expectation for individuals who apply for employment with the Richland School District to be forthcoming and truthful in their applications. No past investigations or allegations appeared in Mr. Huizar's background checks before he was hired, and nothing was disclosed by Mr. Huizar. Sorry, I'm saying this wrong. We took the process of hiring staff very seriously and pride ourselves on the quality and character of our staff
Huizar.
members.
Could you tell his actual hiring date and then his position title?
Yes, on November 19th, and this will be on for all the community to see. On November 19th, 2021, he started application process with the Richland School District for a substitute position. In January, the Richland School District received a reference from a neighboring school district where he was employed as a school resource officer. He was rated very good to excellent. In February, he completed his drug screen at Lourdes Occupational Health. His fingerprints were taken at the Educational Service District and were used to run background checks with the Washington State Patrol and FBI. Both background checks came back clear, allowing him to proceed with the employment process at RSD. In February 2022, he completed the mandatory 8-hour sub-skills training course, passing with a score of 100%. February 7th, 2022, we initiated the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction Emergency Substitute Certification application, electronically signed and completed. The application asked background questions in the character and fitness part, including, have you ever resigned from or otherwise left any employment while allegations of misconduct were pending? And are you currently or have you ever been the subject of an investigation or inquiry by an employer because of allegations of misconduct? Both questions he answered no. He also signed an affidavit certifying all information included in the emergency substitute application was true and correct. February 8, 2022, the neighboring school district sent the Washington State Sexual Misconduct Disclosure Release to Richland School District. The neighboring district checked the box for no sexual misconduct materials found. This document was sent to RSD from that district's District Human Resources Department. He completed his new hire
triple
paperwork,
check.
including an I-9 form. A notification of reasonable assurance for employment was sent to him. February 9th, 2022, I guess I don't need to keep going. Is that enough? Do you want me to keep going?
Will there be school tomorrow?
Yes, there will be, we met and debriefed. Wiley families received an email shortly, a few minutes ago, and we will have school at Wiley tomorrow. That best practice is to go back to our routines, and that's where all of our resources will be at the school.
Like the crisis response team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, could you say the two victims, or the victims' names that you're able to say, and the suspect's name slowly with pronunciation, so that we just get that right?
So the one victim that we can disclose, who was found near Wiley Elementary, is Amber Marie Rodriguez. And the defendant in this matter is
Ex-wife.
Elias, and I believe the last name is pronounced Huizar, and I stand willing to be corrected.
Huizar.
If anybody wants to correct
One
me
of
on that,
them.
I believe it's Huizar. It's Huizar. And those are the only related names we can release at this time regarding the incident. I'm told by Mayor Gary we only have an opportunity for a few more questions, Mr. Potter. I'm sorry, Mr. Probert.
Just a question for Dr. Ranger. You might not have an answer to this, but I believe that I believe his initial crime was on February 2nd. I was wondering what happened between February 2nd and February 14th, and why was there some sort of breakdown in communications or something?
No, that's just when we were alerted.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then I was wondering, when it comes to WRPD, Chief said that you guys are making progress. I was wondering, what can you tell us about that progress? What does that mean for people wondering? And then also, I know you can't say exactly where people are at, but where should maybe people be looking for the suspect? I know that there was the Toyota Corolla originally, but then I think I read this morning that it might have been a different car spotted in Portland. What should people be looking for?
So you may be aware that there was an Amber Alert that was last night. So at this point, we're simply asking that the public look for any information that relates to that Amber report that might lead to locating Mr. Huizar. This case is being, as I said, very actively investigated. What I mean by that is there are multiple agencies that are involved. There are search warrants that are being conducted, many efforts that are being undertaken at the same time by different personnel. And so this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. Every effort is being made to continue and conclude, hopefully, conclude shortly this investigation.
Is there any information, there was a little bit of discrepancy, for example, on the Amber Alert saying that the child was last seen 2 days ago. Is that the case, or is that inaccurate?
So I don't have any other information about that at this time, so I just rely on the Amber report information. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have already touched on this, but for Ms. Rodriguez, who is she leaving behind, and how is the community, how are you guys supporting any children or anything like that she has?
So my office has a victim witness unit, and we have victim witness coordinators and assistants that work with crime victims. And so I would anticipate that our victim witness staff and the staff at the Support Advocacy Resource Center, or SARC, will likely work with the crime victims in this matter to provide them services. Obviously, there are a number of people that were affected in the community by this matter, and our office and others will be making every effort to help those folks. Any final questions? Yes, sir.
There was a years in the middle of emotional there and all this. Is there any plans to increase security at schools? Because I know for myself, I'd gladly put myself in the line of students. Because it's happening all across America.
Understood.
So we do have very good partnerships with our two police departments, Richland and West Richland, and they do a good job of patrolling the area. They have stepped that up. We are in conversations about adding additional resource officers through the region. We do have two, I know they're not armed, but our principals are specially trained also to help in times of crisis and to be proactive. Always know who's in their building, make sure we're following our safety protocols by not propping doors open and having our single point of entry. So just know the partnership with the local law enforcement, they've really stepped it up, and we just have to make sure we're following our policies and procedures to keep our kids safe.
Are there any thoughts on getting people armed in schools? Is this guy able to go in there and shoot a woman in cold blood and walk out?
Yeah, that is something that is more of a board policy, and at this time, we're in conversations about how to up our security.
I have one
All right.
question real quick.
One and done.
Okay, this is it. Regarding the bail and him having 2 charges, can you explain the thought process about why bail was even set at all, for how serious these crimes were?
Great question.
Yes, Mr. Huizar was charged with rape of a child in the 3rd degree and rape in the 2nd degree in February of this year, and the requested bail amount was $250,000. Between the 2 cases, that amount was set by the court, and that was based on, as provided in Criminal Rule 3.2, which provides the standards for bail settings. That was based on the nature of the allegations, the 2 allegations against Mr. Huizar. It was based on the fact that there were 2 victims in the 2 matters, and his connection to the community and lack of criminal history. Thank you.
All right, I thank all the media for coming out this afternoon and all the participants in this room as well. So if we have any further information, you can look for further press releases, and as necessary, may reconvene another press conference at a later time. So thank you very much.
All right, that press conference regarding the search for Elias Huizar, wanted for double murder, just wrapped up. I want to go over some of the key points quickly. Of course, we heard from the West Richland Police Chief and the Benton County Prosecutor. We heard from them that they do believe that the 1-year-old was kidnapped by the suspect. They say they are making progress on locating the suspect. It didn't specify exactly what that progress looked like. They say they're making this their highest priority, calling it an all hands on deck situation, that they're using all of their resources for this from multiple different jurisdictions and departments. The prosecutor also said there's a nationwide arrest warrant for the suspect right now. Of course, still an active investigation that was mentioned several times. They did confirm that the 1-year-old with the suspect is his son. Of course, we'll have much more on this evening. Find this and more on our website, nonstoplocal.com.
All right. So, it looks like he was seen in Portland 4 hours ago. Let's watch this really quickly, and then we're going to get into some court documents that were released and collected by tumbleweird.org. Excellent website. Matter of fact, if anybody would like to donate in any way, I will give everything I get to. I'm going to make a pledge. Ooh, scary. But I pledge every single thing that I make on this live to that website to support them, because they requested all the things. Everything he has been reported on, that is called transparency. FOIA, public record. That is what the community should have access to. Some people don't even know about that. And this website, tumbleweird.org, had it all, which is what I'm going to show you today so that we can get the full picture of what failed these two victims and why we have a missing 1-year-old, his son, in his care or lack thereof. He's violent, scary, predator. So why was he ever held on bond? It should have been held no bond.
I was scared, honestly. This is
A new update coming to us this morning in the manhunt for Elias Huizar, the man who's accused of shooting and killing 2 women yesterday and is also wanted for kidnapping his 1-year-old son. West Richland Police Department shared a post on Facebook saying Portland PD says Huizar was seen in Portland, Oregon overnight. The Amber Alert sent out last night was looking for a silver 2009 Toyota Corolla, but Portland police say they saw Huizar in a black sedan. The Amber Alert was also added to Oregon, and West Richland police say that they're working to follow up on the lead and will release more information once it's confirmed. West Richland police say that they'll also be holding a press conference this afternoon with more information.
Yes, Mr. Eve. And the reason why it is a kidnapping, because even if you're a child's parent, you can still kidnap your child, right? That's most of the Amber Alerts and most of the kidnappings that happen. They are parental kidnappings. They make up the majority. The most rare, is stranger abduction. So, again, Tumbleweird, thank you so much for all of this information in detail that breaks down what was going on timeline-wise to where we are now and why this man got away with so much horrendous shit, and why there are 2 murdered victims at the hands of this monster. Please share this information to your social media platforms so that people can be aware of what to look out for, not only for justice, right, but he's dangerous and could harm someone else. And their police is afraid that he might commit more crimes as he's out in the public eye. If he gets, if he's seen, that he might retaliate, right? So just be very careful, especially if you live in Washington and the surrounding states. So let me look at this update. 7-minute read on the 22nd. You know what? I bet there is even a better update. Well, that's it. Okay. So again, content warning, discussions of DV, crimes against children, rape, and other criminal acts. Is this the latest? Okay. So you yourself can go to the public records associated with this case because of tumbleweird.org at this Google Drive here. Now always be careful and be mindful that when you log into these, have your VPN on, have your, information secured, your network secured before doing any of that kind of stuff, because it could definitely be jeopardized in some way. There are bad people out there. Not saying that Tumbleweird is, but there's other bad people that know that these can be loopholes. Fortunately for me, I have got it on lockdown here. So we good. So we're going to start with the records from the Union Gap Police, Detective Curtis Santucci. He investigated 2 cases involving Huizar after an interview with his own department in Yakima, in which Huizar revealed that he had begun dating his now ex-wife, who he murdered, when she was in high school. She was a student in Sunnyside. He was a wrestling coach. Santucci says that his estranged ex-wife was not a cooperating witness. So I stand corrected on that, because yesterday or last night on my live, I said that I kept calling her a witness because I wasn't sure about the full details yet. But anyway, and he was unable to establish probable cause as sexual misconduct with a minor first degree. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. She was not a cooperating witness in this particular case. I apologize. So let's pull that up. Union Gap. We're going to go through it. We're going to understand why we're here today. I think it's very crucial to go through this for just because the locals need this information to know what to look for. You can request these things. Even if you don't know who it is, you can go and say, I need reports of any incident whatsoever of someone being accused of this, that, or the other. You might not get it always during an investigation, but you could definitely be told that there is one, right? And then keep checking. I wish they would be more transparent with these things when it happens. But it's never the case, usually. All right. So Union Gap Police. This is redacted for minor's sake and victim's sake. So there was a Lieutenant Chad Janis, Internal Affairs Unit at the Yakima Police Department. This was back in 2022. She investigated the information given from December 15th letter in regards to Elias for sexual misconduct in the first degree. As a result of the investigation, I interviewed his estranged ex-wife to investigate the circumstances. In the interview, I was unable to establish probable cause for that charge with a minor in the first degree. It's very obvious that she was a minor and that there was information that was blaring to prove otherwise, okay? So just know that. Just know that. We'll get to that. Just know that. I can hear you. Oh, thanks.
I was trying to stop.
I was like, is that my phone? It's all good. Thank you, honey. I had to get me some Mylanta. Oh, Mylanta, because this pizza is kicking. I was scarfing it down while the police conference was going, so I apologize. So first, Blank is not a cooperating victim. In her statement, she was willing to enter into a relationship. I'm sorry. If you are a minor, you are not able to make decisions 99.5% of the time, because you're a minor. That's why we have those laws. So you can say that, and this is what I was saying last night, just because a family member, is a product of a situation that was uncalled for, first of all, in my opinion, but long-term relationship, it ended up working out. It is what it is. I can't really speak on what people decide. However, the law states that grooming is this, and there are laws pertaining to what happens. You could still charge someone, or you can be charged even if that relationship was quote unquote consented, but you're a minor. Even if it was after the fact and you're a grown up. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel, but I digress. In her statement, she was willing to enter into a relationship. She expressed what appeared to be a genuine concern about Huizar being arrested and what that would do to her safety. She mentioned, second red flag, she mentioned often that Huizar is not of sound mind, has told her he hears voices, was short-tempered and controlling of her actions. A baby still, exactly. He was law enforcement. He knew better. Yep. Age of consent is 16. She had the baby at 17, which means she got pregnant at 16. But they were in a relationship at 15, which there was evidence to support that. But we'll get there. And I know it might offend somebody of what I said about being young and dating older. I mean, it just is what it is. Whether my belief is right or wrong to others, the law is the law. So that's morally, it's kind of a different thing for some. But for me, you're too young. You're too young. If you're a minor, you're too young to make those decisions. So anyway, second, I learned Blank and Huizar met in the fall of 2009. She was likely 17 years and 3 months old. Okay, so she was likely 17 years, but I think that is proven to be otherwise here in a minute. Huizar was an alumni with Sunnyvale High School and was still active in the wrestling program. He was 24 years old at the time. Huizar had 2 younger brothers actively competing in that high school wrestling program, the same program the victim was participating in. He had returned to assist in practices. This activity was very common, and one that victim stated she participated in herself once she graduated from high school and was competing at a college level. Wow. Wow. Grooming is grooming, man. And she sounds definitely groomed. She was. So, investigator called Sunnyside School District and spoke to their human resources director. I asked them to see if Huizar was ever employed with the school district. On 1/4/22, I heard back with the confirmation that he was not an employee before, during, or after this time period, and he was not in any voluntary positions. Really? Additionally, I investigated the information provided about a previous relationship with a woman only identified to me as this person. There was concern about the age difference and whether or not there was any criminality to their relationship. I was unsuccessful in locating contact information of that person. However, in my interview with victim, she stated that she received a past police report from Dickinson, North Dakota from 2006 or 2007. Huizar attended college in this town and dated Miss Aguilar during that time frame. And according to the victim, the police report identified her as the then girlfriend. In that report, she was questioned for the then criminal investigation and was Huizar's alibi. Wow. So not only does he groom young minors, which is a PDF file, but he also uses them and weaponizes them however he sees fit with what's going on in his life. You'll see this. So the victim also understood that Um, Aguilar went to Sunnyside Schools, and her father was this person and an employee with Sunnyside School District. Wow. This was confirmed, and I was able to locate her. I learned that she was indeed, I wish that was redacted, I'm sorry. I learned that she was indeed a student and graduated in 2009, and the person identified in that report. As a result, the concern about her dating Huizar at age 15 and the unknown of age difference has been solved. Aguilar is just 27 months younger than Huizar. For any concern with this, right here on your screen, the perpetrator must be at least 48 months older than the victim. So now we know that Washington law has established that 48 months is okay. Wow. Wow. The victim must be 14, but less than 16 years of age at the time. Can you believe that? $48 months. 4 years. 4 years. That's a hell of a big difference with a predator. Absolutely. Meaning, hell, you don't even have to get your driver's license yet to make, to be groomed. You don't even have to be able to drive yet. This is ridiculous. I am unable to establish probable cause of a child in the third degree. Based on the information, I see no reason to continue my investigation and interview this person. So, person met with the command staff and briefed them of the case, instructed to get a copy of the police reports and provide them with this letter as reference. I have concluded the criminal investigation as unfounded. So that's the Union Gap Police Department for you. Hey, Bugsy, good to see you. I mean, I am just super liberal. You know what? And I said this last night, and I'm going to say it again. I am not getting political in any way, shape, or form when I say this, but Washington is a very liberal state when it comes to these kinds of things, which is atrocious. And you cannot be liberal in these situations with children. You just can't. You have to be very extreme to protect them. That is the facts. And I really hope that the people who live in Washington state understand that just because it doesn't make everybody happy, it's safe. It's safer. Some decisions are better off, even if it might seem unjust socially. Can't please everybody. But what does matter is protecting our children from these types of people. I'd rather have hurt feelings because of a law being passed that's not liberal enough rather than a child or a family member harmed by this man, Elias. Life in the laundry, we also do not have what is called the Romeo-Juliet law. So most SRs won't even get charges. God. Free country, police always do the standard cover-ups. Police are trained to cover up crimes. Police do. Some of them do, yeah. I will agree with that. Look at the Karen Reed case. Absolutely. I'm not even going to fight you on that. Yeah. Tennessee, yeah. All right. So here is the police report. You can go look for yourself. It's on tumbleweir.org. Again, if you want to support being able to discuss this and look at this, whatever super chat or whatever you want, if it gets donated to me, it goes straight to tumbleweed.org to support this, because this is what you need. This is what people need to hear. As hard as it may be, you're going to see why these people get away with it and how you can do things in your own community to be aware and prevent these things. This is why we have FOIA, and this is why we have Public Freedom of Information Act and local government allowing you to see these things. This is why. Transparency. What is this? Primary narrated by Jeremy Moser. What is this? Oh, this is his charges of, okay, let me go back up. Sorry. What is this? A burglary. Oh, is this where he, hold on a second. Did he like break into a whole bunch of people's houses? Dang. There he is. Okay, so back in '08, he had criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, knowingly entering a dwelling. Quite a few. Dang. My God. So it looks like somebody definitely does their due diligence to keep up with their community. Whoever runs Tumbleweird, I feel you. You're awesome. You're doing God's work. Just trying to find out where he comes in. So there was an arrest warrant for Richie Huizar. So I guess that's a family member. So it seems like the family member, his dad was working at the same school district as him. And they didn't have like eyes on his own son. It seems to me like he was getting away with bad behavior for a very long time. And matter of fact, we don't know if there was some complicity in the family side, but I'm not going to go after them or anything. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. Again, speculative, not fact. But weird. So it says Richie was located inside a trailer and arrested. Steven Sanchez was on the other male inside of the residence. The juvenile male present with David's girlfriend and 2 small children. So what happened? Oh, he just broke in. Okay, I'm sorry. I asked the other friends if they saw anything. Somebody said he saw the wrestlers approach the house. They were all dressed in black except for one individual. The individual was wearing a white zip-up hoodie with blue lettering. So I guess a bunch of wrestlers were coming over to this dude's house or these people's houses to fight. And that was the disorderly conduct. Okay. What the hell is wrong with this guy? But since this in particular has nothing to do with the victims currently, it just shows you that he's a violent guy from a very early age. Seems like he's been a problem. Wow. I know that's the most important thing right now is to make sure that he's returned safe. And, we don't know where he's going to go. Do we even know if he has safe family members that he could come back to right now? There's a lot going on. But I hope the most important thing, no matter what, is that he's returned safely. So please, 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 Washington folks, Oregon, Idaho, surrounding states, please be due diligent in keeping your eyes open. All right, so volunteer policy at Sunnyside. We went over that earlier. So obviously he was working, whether it be paid or not, for that school district, but they said that he wasn't in those reports. What the fuck? My mouth is just dropped when I read this. So in the 105-page report from the state attorney general's office, this investigator Bradley Graham, wrote a report of a possible essay involving a 12-year-old girl on social media. The students also made written statements about this. Okay. So everybody was keeping it on the low but talking amongst each other about it. The 12-year-old had told her friends that she had, to him in Snapchat messages. Okay, read that for yourself. This was in November of 2018. She's 12 years old. 2018. What year is this? 2024. So 6 years. And they gave him $250,000 bond. Where's my beep beep? Are you kidding me? Washington, Yakima, Sunnyside, Criminal Justice Division. Why isn't he in prison right now? Who doggy? Okay. In May of 2019, Michael Durbin with the Yakima Police Department interviewed the guardian and grandmother of the child. Durbin said of the grandmother, she did not believe the poor officer did anything with the child. One moment. Thank you. Excuse me. The kids discuss how Doe can lie. Whew. One moment. And say her phone was hacked and pretended that she didn't send the message regarding Huizar. Later, we see the plan play out when Doe tells investigators her phone was hacked and she didn't send the messages about Huizar taking her innocence. She denies the relationship. I wonder if she was scared what he would do. I wonder if he told her what happened. But to think that your own family members did not protect you. Whew, that is rough. And bless your heart, whoever this victim is, bless your heart. You deserved better than that. And I'm so sorry for that. Ding, ding, ding. Free country said it. The FBI needs to look into that police department. I agree. My blood is boiling, y'all. All right. So many of the students that were interviewed during this investigation said that Doe talked about Huizar and their relationship. One story the students reported was Doe telling them she had relations with Huizar in the janitor closet on campus. This is a story a student reported that she said, corroborating the claim. Do you not believe your child, no matter if they've had past problems with lying? Do you think that maybe because of what was going on, the abuse and the grooming and the rape that was happening to her by a predator may contribute to those problems? It is your job as a family to figure out what's going on and believe your child until otherwise. I don't have words for this. In the messages from Doe to a friend, Doe said she loved the officer and wanted, because she was groomed, wanted to have relations, but didn't want to get pregnant. Her friend told her to get protection. In another message, if that's not obvious, glaringly obvious enough, and proof. In another message, Doe is depressed and threatened suicide over her friends going to the school principal about Huizar. Vice Principal Hilton had asked for Snapchat messages. Doe said she would unalive and that her mom was going to send her to church school. That's going to help. All of it just, it's so horrible. Cutie Pie says, there's some locals in the chat, guys, by the way. And so they know kind of the nitty gritty of what's going on. And I've read some of the locals' testimony. Please email me if you ever want to explain or have, receipts on your claims of who did what and how they contributed to letting this man out and free when he should be in prison. Please do. It's eveeptalk@gmail. Yeah, I know. I have to be careful. My family knew and they didn't do nothing. I hear you. I'm sorry to hear that. There's a lot of victims out there with the same story. Whoa, this monster was a substitute teacher at my son's class. I cannot imagine how you feel knowing that. Now. I know. I can't talk, especially with my family, because Doe said she couldn't tell anyone that she was having relations with this man, with this predator. And Doe voiced concerns that Huizar could go to jail if anyone found out. So Doe and her friends decided to tell everyone it was a prank. How many times have we heard this happen when victims are intimidated? They're minors. Of course they're going to be too scared or they're going to feel bad because they feel like they are complicit somehow because they believe that they agreed to it when they don't know they were groomed, right? So she said it was a prank, and however, in multiple pages of student interviews, the students talk about them and their relations and how she planned to deny the relationship because she was worried about him going to jail. Hey, stars. J. Marie, good to see you. Trigger warning. The background came back clear and everyone gave him good reviews. Yeah. Thank you for sending me that, Carrie. I really appreciate that. We'll go over it. Oh. So the students, there's witnesses after witness after witness after witness. Family doesn't believe her. I, honest to God, do not blame her for saying, all right, it was a prank. I'm really, really sorry. I'm just going to go with it. How awful. So Doe and her friends decided to tell everyone, again, it was a prank. They made it up. There's witnesses. And according to Jody Garrettson, Executive Director for Support, Advocacy, and Resource Center, in the majority of cases I have seen, minors believe they are in relationships when they are dating an adult. In these situations, the adults have groomed the kids, right? And have them believing that the adult genuinely cares about them, wants to take care of them, is fulfilling an emotional need of the young person. And because of this, the child truly cares for the adult and doesn't want anything bad to happen to them. It can take a very long time for the minor to come to the realization that they were actually a victim of an individual who was assaulted. And it's very complicated. Absolutely true. Sometimes these victims never stop feeling bad, even though they realized that they were wrong. It's wild. You want a wrench? Don't be jealous, J. Marie girl. You know I love you. I'd rather see you and Carrie throw wrenches at each other. That would be kind of funny. That would be cool. No, it wouldn't. I'm just kidding. No violence. So on February 8th, 2022, the Richland School District also received notification from Yakima School District Human Resources Department that Mr. Huizar had no misconduct notes while employed for their district, but we know that is not true. The Richland School District has reviewed your request and has determined that the records requested are exempt from disclosure for the following reasons. Uh-oh. A loophole in the FOIA system that some of these local municipalities abuse because of employment records. Well, you can redact the employment shit and still release what he did, what he was alleged to do. and what your investigation was. Yeah, he really does. Mr. Eve actually does have a drawer. Could you please throw these at that man? It's not a man, a creature, Mr. Huizar. All of the wrenches. So they denied that report, again, from Richland School District. Or, excuse me, Yakima School District's HR department on the Richland School District employment. The following employment and licensing information is exempt from public inspection, test questions, scoring keys, and other examination. All applications for public employment other than for vacancies in elective office, including names and other related materials submitted with respect to the applicant. That's not what was requested, though. And a follow-up email from RSD Public Information Officer Shauna Dine regarding hiring policies, she provided answers to the questions we sent in from March from their Human Resources Department. How long does it take to process an emergency substitute certificate? Now, why did he do that? It was because he was working at the Yakima Police Department and had been under investigation for misconduct unrelated. And so he had to get a new job because he was about to get gone. So there's a thing called, could we please ban the emergency substitute certificate, please? I don't care what inefficiencies you're running in a school district. Just shut the shit down until you get it right. That's what I think. Anyway, this is dependent upon how backlogged OSPI is. HR will apply for an emergency substitute certificate. And guess what? A predator knew that and got one. And here we are. Good job. Then the sub will need to go into their OSPI account and complete the application. Then the district will put a rush on the certificate as long as the substitute has current fingerprints on file with the state. This process has been done in a day, but generally 3 to 5 business days. But because he wasn't charged with any crime, nor was he, it wouldn't have shown up anyway. However, maybe that should change. Maybe there should be a red flag in whatever system it is, which should be universal in each state or county, so that those things are tipped off. Because these are children that he's going to be working around. Does a person apply and then they go through the emergency process? Okay, an applicant would need to fill out the job application and apply for that position. If they meet the criteria, HR will follow standard hiring procedures. This would include making sure it's complete, the fingerprints are scheduled, the fingerprinting, and HR staff would have them in to meet with whoever it was for a new employee orientation to fill out the paperwork. Once the background fingerprint check is complete and entered into the system, they are assigned an employee number and able to begin subbing. Oh, wow. He was making $20 an hour doing that. But that was okay with him because he was right where he wanted to be. His value was elsewhere, and we know what that is. Sick. What case is this so I can read up on it? I missed half the live. It is the Elias Huizar, Huizar, manhunt going on right now. He allegedly murdered his ex-wife and girlfriend and kidnapped his 1-year-old son and was trying to flee, allegedly, to Mexico, but he is on the run. And we need to find this little boy, this little 1-year-old boy. And his name is Roman, the 1-year-old, by the way, Roman. Besides the fingerprints, what else is done for a background check? References are required. However, fingerprinting is the main source. Each applicant is required to fill out a disclosure form as part of the application. The disclosure is basically a criminal history questionnaire. So he lied on that. He is one. That's right. HR does not call references for substitutes. Here we go. This is a predator's dream. Don't be verified. Even if I just got an investigation assigned on me, I could be a sub, even though cop to sub. That's an interesting change of career. Isn't it? It's a little different. But I guess that wasn't worth it. So again, they do not call references for substitutes unless they are red flags. One moment. Each applicant, red flags. However, nutrition services, custodial, transportation, and other support services do call the references for each person they choose to hire. Each group would have their own list of questions that they ask. Does the district use internet searches when doing new employee background checks? Internet searches are not done. What? I'm sorry, but look, this is no slight against you, Mr. Eve. But the ones before, and including Mr. Eve, got that background check. Or the Google version of it, if I was really broke. Sorry, my life matters. So you don't do that for your employees that work around children? I am sorry, but erroneous on all counts. So the fingerprinting through the state is very thorough, and it does report for WSP and FBI. This catches things that the applicants fail to mention on their disclosures because they think the offense has dropped off their record. Oh! They thought, it's been 10 years. I think I can go back into the limelight again and make some money. But they just want to catch those things. But it's the most recent things that they're not worried about. But you're worried about the past. I think that might be the problem as well. An additional problem amongst many here. And this is not just Washington. This is everywhere. This is all over. On April 15th, Kirsten Fitterer, Communication and Engagement Executive Director at the Yakima School District, answered Tumbleweed's inquiries about him. Concerning your general inquiry, Mr. Huizar was employed with the Yakima School District as a wrestling coach for 2019 and 2020. In his capacity, no complaints were received. When Mr. Huizar acted as a school resource officer, he did so as an employee with the Yakima Police Department. So, baby, he had two entities backing his little secret at the time. So any questions about his conduct while acting as a school resource officer should be directed to the police department. The irony. That's the irony if you've ever seen it. Wow, y'all. Wow. So readers can refamiliarize themselves with their responses in this article, which is where I was starting. But at the end of the day, he had so many investigations on him that led nowhere until this last time, finally got him. And he only got $250,000 bail, which somebody helped him meet, where he came out and murdered 2 innocent people that he victimized and groomed. And now there's a third victim, his own son. This guy is dangerous. But there are these types. I'm not trying to scare anybody to live their lives, but what I'm saying is be fucking involved in your community, because there are locals that didn't know anything, and there are locals that have been very vocal about it and was not heard. Okay, so scream until you can't anymore. Be the moms and the dads at the school administrators meetings, the ones that are called, bashers of a certain group. When you see something that you don't like or is horrendous, make a fit, throw a fit. Do that, please. In your local communities, it starts there. Everybody, when they hear these big crimes, it's like, oh, the big dogs need to take care of it. The state needs to take care of it. No, it starts in your local community first. Those things are supposed to, those governments, local governmental bodies are supposed to catch these things as well, not just the FBI, cyber crimes unit. No, it starts with you. We've lost community. We've lost our sense of community. We're very individualistic people with our phones in our faces. I'm guilty of that too. But get involved. Why not? What's it going to hurt? Sometimes you find out some juicy gossip that you didn't think or knew existed, and it's kind of entertaining for a moment, for the most part. But this is not. This is innocence being victimized over and over again by people like this, and they're out there. Cutie pie, so many balls were dropped in so many places. It's embarrassing to even say I'm local. All I can think about is this sweet little boy, and if he's okay, it's so sad. I am terrified. And I'm with you. I'm terrified of where he is. He's 1 year old. We all know that 1-year-olds are very needy, as they should be, rightfully so. And with somebody who could just off 2 people just like that, his victims, I think you could see where I'm going with that. So I'm really, really praying that he's okay, and that maybe he is trying to give him to family members. Please do, if you're listening, you son of a bitch. I really appreciate that, just like he deserves to not be a victim by you. Take him somewhere if you have him and you're watching. Do the right thing for once. Chris says, my heart is hurting for all the elementary school kids who've seen and heard about it. Yeah. Yeah. They witnessed a tragedy. Another group of victims by this man. When I was raising my grandchildren, I worked at the school, and you wouldn't believe what I seen was going on with these teachers. Yeah. It is the worst. This is the worst. That's why I covered it when I read it. And thank you to One Life to Live, my mod who lives not around that area, but close enough in Washington. And thank you for bringing me this information. Because it's far beyond just some ex-cop bad guy who was in a, rage and killed 2 women that he was. No, this is a predator. This is like a predator. I would even go as far as, from what I know so far, a trafficker of some sorts too. Maybe potentially. That's my speculation, but we'll get into that on the next live because it's over an hour. Share the Nick Mick and the Amber Alert poster for Roman Huizar, this 1-year-old. You can go to missingkids.org. I will have it linked in my description box below and on my community post. Please do so. And to the locals out there, I'm sorry that you guys are going through this, and I'm sure your community is rocked. Hopefully you guys can have a voice about your experiences and what you feel has failed not only the victims, but the community who have become victims of this man. Feel free to email me. All right, guys, thank you for being here. As I say, drink your water. Spend your energy wisely in these YouTube streams. Stay out of the exploiters of YouTube of this case, because there's already some going on right now. That's just my suggestion. Do what you want. Hit that like button before you leave. Hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. And I will see you on the next live. Bye, guys. Be safe. Justice for the victims of this man. Bye-bye.
I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll